Would you say there are other differentiating factors जो Domino's और Pizza Hut जैसे giants के साथ आपको compete करने में help करते हैं?
See, I would say, मतलब everyone is trying to do it, even the global brands. But Indian taste में the base they are not doing.
I mean, why did you have to move majorly towards cloud? Was that COVID or?
When COVID happened and like Swiggy, Zomato was the only option where you can get food. So let's say migrated crowd, students, late night working crowd. So Zomato, Swiggy or let's say food delivery adoption was accelerated by at least 2 to 5 years, I would say.
And an idea that impacted you?
Compounding really works very well, not just with investing but in business also. So building in the right manner, even if it's slow, is the best way to go.
Would you say there are other differentiating factors जो Domino's और Pizza Hut जैसे giants के साथ आपको compete करने में help करते हैं?
Everyone is trying to do it, even the global brands. But Indian taste में the base they are not doing.
Let's welcome Niraj over here and listen from the man himself what the vision and where it all started from. Welcome, Niraj.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having me here. Yes.
So, Niraj, I mean, just like me, a new freshie who has always eaten out, who loves to gorge on food, Cheesiano was something that fed my college life. Where did that vision come from and how did you start from the get-go of its idea?
Okay, so there were a few aspects of it. So let's say, for example, like you take global brands like Domino's. So we've been eating similar pizzas, probably a bit bland compared to Indian taste, right? So there was a need to get it twisted by Indian flavors because India has many flavors than most other countries, right? Plus, they had a cold food supply chain base. So, for example, in India, we are not used to with having, I would say, frozen foods, right? So, we make our dough, like the chapati and everything that we have, we do it every day, and not like the West where a frozen food is like a practice for a week or so, right? So, that was the kind of thing that was being done by most of the brands. So, the key USP for us is we make our fresh dough every day. So, just like in the घर में जो हम लोग चपाती बनाते हैं, so that was one thing. And the Indian twist, so we are used to, so example, if we eat Chinese, we don't have that Chinese which China actually had, right? So हमको चाहिए मसाला, Maggi masala जैसा. So we need all those things, and that was missing from the pizza, right? So that's what we are doing actually.
So rather than the taste palette, would you say there are other differentiating factors जो Domino's और Pizza Hut जैसे giants के साथ आपको compete करने में help करते हैं?
See, I would say, मतलब everyone is trying to do it, even the global brands. But Indian taste में the base they are not doing. They are not doing it by a fresh dough. So that makes a lot more difference. So थोड़ा सा dough soft होता है. So it tastes a lot better with cheese when melted with cheese. So ये aspects जो है, so no one is trying that. But Indian twist, a lot of people are trying that, but we have more variety of that. Yeah. So maybe, and if you have tried, and every 3 months to 6 months, we try something new. So some get sticked, some products are not that, doesn't go well with the customers. So we don't continue them for long. So we try it out, and every now and then we add few more products that goes into our bestsellers. So that's how we do it.
Now I'm more curious about what artisans, or how do you choose these artisans who can, innovate with the taste palette?
So that is something we try it out from some other players also. So locally बहुत जगह पे होता है. So for example, if you try a pizza in some particular pub, right? So अच्छे होते हैं, काफी अच्छे होते हैं because they also use fresh dough. So we try it out with some other options. So locally भी बहुत जगह पे, for example, Delhi में we had a pizza long back, probably 2.5 years back. We liked it so much, so we tried it out because that was a standalone single outlet, right? But the taste palette is the same for most of the Indians, right? And consumers. So हम लोग ने वो try किया, and it got very well with the audience. So that's how we try it out. फिर मसालास भी होते हैं. Then let's say North Indian. So we have lots of gravies, curries and everything. So अभी, for example, we got a paneer makhni pizza. 1.5 year back. It is so good. That is one of my favorites, right? So ये सब चीजें हम लोग try out इसी तरीके से करते हैं. मतलब lots of things have not yet tried out by anyone. तो हम लोग ये इसलिए try करते हैं. बाकी if you say pepi paneer, almost everyone has it, and I believe सबका favorite भी वही है, right?
Yeah.
So it is with everyone. तो हम लोग दूसरा कुछ ऐसे ही try करते हैं.
तो ये जो इंस्पिरेशन आती है स्टैंड अलोन रेस्टोरेंट से, दे कैन मैनेज अप देयर क्वालिटी बिकॉज इट्स ऑल इन हाउस, ज्यादा एक्सपोजर नहीं है. हाउ डू यू रेप्लिकेट इट मल्टीपल प्लेसेस एट मल्टीपल प्लेसेस?
नहीं, सो एसओपीज के वाया हो जाता है. एंड लाइक आई सेड, फ्रेश डो जो हम बनाते हैं, तो वी हैव अ एसओपी टू मेक इट इन द स्टोर एवरी डे, एवरी सिंगल मॉर्निंग. तो बिकॉज सब लाइक other brands have centralized kitchen, they make it there, 4 days का frozen होता है वो. We don't have that. So if we can make the dough in the store itself, probably we can do everything.
So each day the dough is made freshly.
So at the end of the day, if something is not being sold, we discard everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talking about, diversifying the palettes, not just pizzas, you've also entered with Burgerino and saucy subs. So how did that change happen? Was it because of constrained market strengths, or you just wanted to expand it to different?
Okay. So pizza is just like an entire meal. So typically you'll have pizza during say lunch or dinner time, or maybe midnight, right? Subs, like we just had one brand, Subway, in the country, in most of the countries, right? So thing is ki Subway has never gone mainstream. Apart from India 1. So when I say India 1, it's top 10, top 15 cities. That too with like above upper middle class, right? So it has never gone mainstream as in to the mass audience, I would say. So that was one aspect. So जब हम वड़ा पाव खा सकते हैं, तो obviously we have a decent, I would say, consumption option with respect to sub. But subs में वो किसी ने try नहीं किया था.
Correct.
And उसमें Indian twist भी options नहीं थे. So for example, if you want to have a paneer makhni sub, so that is one of my favorites again. तो you can have it. तो वो थोड़ा सा spicy रहेगा. तो just like वड़ा पाव हमको थोड़ा spicy चाहिए rather than a simple burger from a global brand, right? So that is how we entered into sub market. हमने same burgers का भी try किया था, but subs looked better for us than burgers rather.
In terms of the numbers or the product?
In terms of numbers, actually, because there is no alternative. Plus, like, people do want to have healthier food. So it is slightly healthy. I'm not saying it is healthier than a homemade food, but rather than having a burger जिसमें frozen patty and everything is there, so maybe you can have a sub जिसमें at least fresh vegetables है, and it's a fresh bread.
Correct.
Again, the bread is just 1 or 2 day old. We don't use frozen and everything. कुछ भी नहीं होता है.
Nice.
So it's quite better because of the lack of alternate options. तो subs जल्दी पिकअप हो गया, in fact.
How good was Hyderabad's response to a newer brand?
Both was great because if you look at India market, तो nightlife is very good in Pune and Hyderabad both. मतलब just below metro cities, I would say. So these are like we started with Pune and during COVID we started Hyderabad. Okay. So Hyderabad का भी response was very good because the spending power is quite good. Nightlife भी होती है. Like people order till 5 a.m. with us. I'll tell you an example. So even in Hyderabad, by mistake, because of a technical error, a store got, मतलब वो on हो गया था Swiggy पे at 8 a.m. And we got an order at 8:05. So that is the kind of demand we have in both the places, Hyderabad and Pune.
I am more interested in listening to how did you manage up filling up that order then?
No. So it got cancelled because it was a technical error because store is not on at 8 a.m. But I was thinking for at least 10 minutes here, 8 o'clock in the morning, who will order a pizza? But that is how it is.
Probably fans like us, yes.
There can be. So actually I was thinking कि मतलब रात भर जाग के वो मॉर्निंग में ऑर्डर किया या जस्ट लाइक 6 o'clock का वर्कआउट हो गया एंड देन 8 a.m. अर्ली डिनर और अर्ली लंच और ब्रेकफास्ट, आई डोंट नो. बट मतलब there are various kinds of customers and India is a big population. So you will get all sets of customers, like customers who are hunting for a deal, a good discount, hunting for, let's say, different taste. Even though they like something, they will not repeat it. So people are always hunting for something new, something consistent that they can have. So it's a wide enough market.
And when we are talking about these multiple stores, are they company owned, company operated, or franchisee as well?
It's a mix of both. So few of the stores company operate and company owns, and rest of it is franchisee.
How does the proportion look in that case?
Close to 1/3 is company and 2/3 is franchisee for now.
Okay. So this 1/3 of it, how well do you think the franchisees work, opposed to the ones that you operate yourself?
Okay. As far as like sales profitability goes, it doesn't make a difference whether it's a franchisee owned or a company owned. But however, there is a myth, I would say, or a decent doubt in the market on whether franchisee works or not. So we work a bit differently again in this case. So lots of other brands के franchisees with whom we have spoken, they are like कि एक बार franchisee दे दिया उसके बाद no one even shows up, no one talks to them. Material purchase they have to mandatorily do it from the company itself. We do it very differently. We don't like supply material, so we don't keep margins on other aspects. And we are the ones pushing the franchisee every single day in the morning. So हम लोग थोड़ा अलग तरीके से try कर रहे हैं. And what we would want is कि there are lots of people in the country who have potential, but who don't have any idea or let's say business opportunity to do. So we are finding those kind of people and हम लोग उनको franchisee देके we are like building it up. So for example, Hyderabad. So there's a franchisee who's a master franchisee. So he is coming up with a 5th outlet in a month or two. So 4th outlet अभी last month open हुआ. So we would want multi-unit franchisees. So we will be able to support them in the best possible manner that any brand is doing in the food business. And that I can assure. But that is what we are doing differently. So probably we can make it work. So
are you willing to enter, say, tier 2, tier 3 as well?
Yeah, but eventually, because see, the major spending power and the market is in tier 1. Most of the market is in online deliveries. So deliveries mein what happens? So for example, we are sitting in Pune. So a 4-5 kilometer distance, its cost has to be paid by the customer, right? Tier 2 में वैसा जनरली नहीं होता, मतलब हर सिटी में नहीं होता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई बिलोंग टू अ वेरी स्मॉल टाउन फ्रॉम विदर्भ, तो वहां पे ऐसा होगा यार 2-4 किलोमीटर इज जस्ट 5-10 मिनट्स का गोइंग एंड पिकिंग अप द पार्सल. So people don't every time prefer Swiggy, Zomato or any kind of a delivery because it gets a markup on that. So we will do it when the time is right for us. Yeah.
Makes sense. Now, since we are already talking about numbers, how would you say the revenue generating streams, multiples that we have talked about, franchisee hai, online delivery bhi hai, but something that, the general public or me might not know of, and how does that number look like?
So we are close to 1.5-2 million ARR currently. So we will be going to 5 to 10 in next 2-3 years. That is what I would say. Yeah.
And what would you say are the top expenses in your case?
Top expenses mein food is there, salary is there. A rental is not that big a problem for us because we work a lot on cloud model. So delivery is 80-85% sales for us. So we don't want to have like a prime location in a high street or let's say the best location in a particular mall. So rents is not that big a problem for us. Yeah, hiring and training is one thing which takes a lot of our bandwidth, but that is how it works.
And in that case, I mean, why did you have to move majorly towards cloud? Was that COVID or?
So, yeah, I would say there are two factors. So pre-COVID, the adoption rate was, let's say, probably early 2-digit or something. When COVID happened and like Swiggy, Zomato was the only option where you can get food. So let's say migrated crowd, students, late night working crowd. So Zomato, Swiggy or let's say food delivery adoption was accelerated by at least 2 to 5 years, I would say, due to COVID. And because of that, these players like made it very big. So आज के डेट में अगर प्रॉब्लम होता था डिलीवरीज में तो इट वुड नॉट, मतलब अडॉप्शन रेट फिर इतना फास्ट नहीं होता था. But these guys also evolved very, very fast, very quickly in the best possible manner. So आज के डेट में you don't have to worry if you order by these apps, right? Correct. So you are assured कि आ जाएगा 30 नहीं तो 40 minutes में, नहीं तो 50 minutes में at the max. So if you are assured of that kind of thing, तो obviously it is going to pick up. for example, 5 years back, you won't have heard about कि चलो breakfast order करते हैं Zomato Swiggy से. That was not a thing. आज के डेट में होता है वैसा. तो why does it happen? Because adoption is there and it's a sticking habit.
And in that competitive state, especially with the QSRs today, how do you think Cheesiano is standing out?
See, for the timing, we are not that big a player because we are in just 2 cities, not even fully covering these 2 cities. So I would say, yeah, it's a regional play for now, regional or city level play for now. But as we expand, we would want to be seen as a regional player who has like done properly, and we want to be good in the eyes of the customer rather than the big investment round that we raise. Obviously, we will do that if at all and as and when it's necessary. But we want customer love more than the other stakeholders love. So that is what we are trying to do. And if we do that in a good manner, I would say, we will be expanding very soon.
So you must have heard multiple founders pitch themselves.
Yeah.
Now we want you to make a sales pitch about yourself. We'll give you 3 minutes tops, right?
So like a elevator
for the
pitch?
audience. Yeah.
Okay.
So for the audience, whichever say a new person who is meeting you for the first time, doesn't know Niraj, doesn't know Cheesiano.
Okay.
What do you pitch there?
Okay. So we are an Indian QSR brand building from Pune, and we are catering to the increased, I would say, food consumption demand in India for the youngsters and everyone. And the taste that we cater to is with an Indian taste, and a lot of it is not being offered by any global brands right now. And we are doing it in a different manner where we are partnering with most the brilliant minds in our country that we have with a unique franchise model that will help us expand very fast. I would say that is enough. Yeah.
We did not hear about cheese, pizzas, burgers at all, and that was the best part of it.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So eventually we would want to make a QSR brand. So not just particularly a pizza or something. So it's a very long term bet. So like I said, अभी सब में तो होता नहीं है ज़्यादा चीज. So maybe in some of them. But so that's why ना. So it's a QSR brand that we have to bet on, not just pizzas.
And if you would want to explain QSR to our audience.
It's a quick service, just opposite to a fine dine that you would say. So fine dine mein like you have 50 to 100 ingredients going into a couple of dishes. So we've got 10 to 15, 20 dishes, the ingredients going into most of the dishes. And it is a quick service restaurant. Like you can take away and go home or something like that. So that's the key difference between a fine dine and QSR.
So to continue on your personalized customer experience, जिसके लिए आप खुद भी बहुत बार involved होते हैं.
Yes. So a lot of times, जैसे मैं आपको बता रहा था, we have a customer repeat of 45%. But in most cases, we tend to miss that. Why is the repeat ratio so? मतलब is at 45? It could be because of price. It could be because आजू बाजू पे कोई competitor. It could be multiple reasons. But until and unless you speak to the customer, कि what do you like? Maybe the price point, maybe the taste, maybe they'll say ki okay, I am just loyal to one brand or I want to try this out new because we don't know ki ye customer क्यों order कर रहा है. So until and unless you talk to tens and hundreds of them, you don't know what the USP of your own brand is or why the customer is liking you more. So this is something that you need to deep dive, get insights and talk to the end customer because आपका स्टाफ कुछ और बोल सकता है तो स्टाफ को नहीं समझ मतलब दे डोंट नो कि व्हाई द कस्टमर इज बाइंग राइट सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट यू नीड टू मतलब गेट टू द रूट ऑफ अदरवाइज आई वुड से बहुत बार अच्छे रिजल्ट्स भी मतलब सही रीजन से नहीं मिलते तो इफ यू डोंट नो व्हाई योर कंपनी इज ग्रोइंग इवन दो एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग गुड you don't know the reason of it, it will fall down. Okay. And you won't know the reason why it is going down. So that's why it is very important to know the reason why it is going so. Whether it's up or down.
That paints a very possible and very opportunistic picture for your business itself. I'll quickly jump to our last round here, which is rapid fire. So the first question is a course that you would recommend to the audience.
I have never done a course, but I would say yes, podcast and YouTube are one of the good options that you have. And it's an ongoing thing. It's not like आपने एक course कर लिया. मतलब especially for startup, you learn every day. Every single day is a learning. It's not like a course, but it's an ongoing journey.
So would you send anyone to me to learn?
Yeah, so your podcast is here. So maybe people will learn something or the other. So when you have, I would say, enough videos, so someone will have at least 1 or 2 videos to get something out of it.
Right.
Because हर किसी को हर चीज तो नहीं चाहिए, probably.
An app that you use on the go.
Recently, I downloaded an app called Wiser, WISER. So it gives a synopsis and summary of any book that you have read or you want to read. So if you have less time to go through each and every book, maybe download the app. It's a very good thing I've discovered recently.
Nice. Yeah. One quality to spot in a new hire.
Hunger. Because at times I've seen like you try to get people with experience on board, but if they are not hungry enough, like नहीं है मतलब उनमें फायर कि यार कुछ करना है, ग्रो करना है, तो it gets very bad, especially if you're hiring in a startup.
One mistake that a startup founder should never make.
Expand multi-city before you achieve some sort of a product market fit or profitability or something.
Role model in business.
Not a single person as such, but multiple things from multiple persons.
And an idea that impacted you.
Idea that impacted me. Actually, I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. So, उनके काफी सारे ideas है which impacts me a lot. So, one of the best is, because I'm from finance background, so I'll tell you that compounding really works very well, not just with investing, but in business also. So, building in the right manner, even if it's slow, is the best way to go.
That's
because
about
people chase speed a lot because of funding, and I don't know what works for them.
One last thing, your go-to productivity hack.
Go-to productivity hack. Actually, I use a notes app. So I note most of the things during a meeting, during a, let's say, to-do list कुछ बनती है वगैरह. So that's a simple thing for me. And most of, it gets synced to my Mac, iPad and phone. So that is one simple thing that is a productivity for me.
Keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
That was great, Niraj. Thank you so much for coming around for our show.